Hi all, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to share some tragic stories with you about lives recently lost due to a child abduction and a carjacking. When I was deciding which story I wanted to cover in this video, I came across a story about a man who stole a car from in front of a motel that had a 2-year-old child and a dog inside. By the time I read the story, the child and dog had already been found safe, and the suspect had been apprehended. I was really grateful for that, but the story still broke my heart, not just because the child and the dog were taken, but because of where and when it happened. The news article stated that it occurred around 8:50 p.m. on Tuesday, February 9th of 2021, in Casey, South Carolina. And I couldn't help but think that while it was happening, I was finishing up my video about the 1-year anniversary of Faye Sweatlick's disappearance from her home in Casey, South Carolina. It was a year almost to the day from when Faye was taken until when the 2-year-old in this story was taken. Same town, same state. Only the 2-year-old was found safely, but Faye was not. Police reported they found the child and the dog safe just after midnight on February 10th, the day Faye disappeared last year. So, I guess that makes that day a little less sad. It was the day we lost Faye last year, but it was the day a child was found safe this year. I guess I don't really understand why my brain needs to make those types of connections, other than to think it's because after hearing so many dark things, your brain eventually starts to crave some light. There have been so many reports of Amber Alerts and kidnappings lately. Too many. Hell, one is too many. All starting out dark. Some ending that way, and some ending with some light. I'm going to share some stories with you because I think they need to be told, but also to remind us that sometimes, even in the dark, we can find some light. I need that right now, and maybe you do too. Maybe that's why I feel compelled to cover these stories. Too many children are being affected by adults with problems. They're being dragged into terrifying situations that they don't belong in because adults are spilling their BS all over them. It's awful, it's tragic, and it needs to stop. I'm going to start with a tragic story of a second child abduction coming out of Peoria, Arizona on February 9th of 2021, when police say the non-custodial father of 10-month-old Abel Mays jumped into Abel's mother's minivan as she was putting Abel in it and took off with him. According to police reports, in an attempt to stop him, Abel's mother was holding on to her van, but was thrown from it. During a press conference given by police about the case, they say they have two different stories about what happened during the abduction. They say they spoke briefly with Abel's mother, Brittany Marty, or Brittany Walker, depending on the source of the news, before she was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries, and she told them Abel was taken in the van, and she was thrown from it. But when they questioned Abel's father, Eric Mays, he told them he intended to hurt her, and he attempted to run her over. One news report read that Brittany was initially thrown from the van. Then, Mays turned around and hit Brittany with it. She was taken to the hospital, where she died from her injuries, and Abel was found safe after police received a call about an abandoned child 11 miles away from where he was taken. Police located the abandoned minivan about 4 miles away from where Abel was abandoned, and following a lead about Abel's father's whereabouts, they were able to capture him. So, he stole a vehicle, abducted his child, murdered his child's mother, then abandoned his child and abandoned the vehicle. I guess his main goal was to kill Abel's mother, then, and not to get his child back. Mays has been charged with first-degree murder, kidnapping, endangerment, and auto theft. Police say he was initially charged with manslaughter after Brittany's death, but since he admitted that he wanted to run her over, they upgraded his charge to first-degree murder. According to azfamily.com, Brittany also has an 11-year-old daughter who will miss her dearly. Abel was reported found left on the doorstep of a Phoenix home. Think about how demented Eric Mays has to be to take his own child from his mother, kill his mother, leaving his own child and another young child without their mother, and leaving his own child on the doorstep of some random house whose owner could have been a complete psycho child abuser for all he knew. Unless he knew the people in the home, I don't know. But the guy's obviously very, very mentally unwell. All that because he wanted to kill Brittany. Such a selfish prick. Brittany's sister-in-law said that Brittany worked hard to escape an abusive relationship with Mays, and she was trying to build a new life for herself and her children. May she rest in peace, and may her children be surrounded by loving family to help them cope with their loss. The next story I want to share with you is a terrifying story out of San Francisco, California, that occurred on February 6th of 2021. Jeffrey Fang was a delivery driver for DoorDash, and he decided to bring his 4-year-old and 1-year-old along with him to make deliveries on a Saturday night. What harm could it cause, right? They would only be left in the car for a few moments while he made each delivery. Well, his decision damn near changed his entire life, for the worst. Because while he was making a delivery, a stranger jumped into his running car and drove off with it and his 2 children. He said he began screaming that his children were in the car, but the carjacker drove off. For those of you who may think it's okay to leave your children alone in a running car, it only takes a moment, people. It only takes a moment for your entire life to be torn away from you. Fang called the police, and an Amber Alert was issued. People in the area began taking to the streets, searching for his car and children, and police put out a plea for the carjacker to return the children unharmed. Then, according to reports, 4 hours later, his car was found abandoned by patrol officers, and his children were recovered safely from inside. Thank God. Police say they have arrested Erlin Obani Romero for the children's kidnapping and vehicle theft. They say he's a repeat offender who took advantage of an opportunity to steal the vehicle when Fang left it running. The children were taken to the hospital and were found to have no injuries. And even better, Fang says they don't remember much of what happened, so he believes they may have slept through most of it. Thank God they were found safe. Terrifying incident, good outcome. The parents of the child in the next story I'm going to tell you weren't so lucky. Earlier, that very same day, February 6th of 2021, 13-year-old Brianna Ibarra was sitting in the back seat of her parents' SUV while they left it running to go into a restaurant in Wichita, Kansas to pick up food, when 34-year-old Kevin Palmer jumped into the driver's seat and took off. It only takes a moment, people. It only takes a moment for your entire life to be torn away from you. According to a witness who watched Palmer steal the SUV, they called police and followed the SUV. Kudos to them for getting involved, but they couldn't have been prepared for what they witnessed next. I'm sure very terrified and trying to save her life, Brittany tried to escape the moving SUV, but was caught up in the seatbelt. Police say she was dragged for kilometers, while witnesses called 911 trying to help. Palmer eventually stopped and abandoned the vehicle, but Brittany was already dead. The chief of police made a statement saying, "This is one of the saddest cases I have been associated with in my over 28 years of law enforcement." Palmer has been charged with first-degree murder, theft, and driving with a suspended license. He's currently being held on a $500,000 bond, and he's scheduled to appear in court on February 18th of 2021. May that poor sweet girl, who had her life stolen from her in a moment, rest in peace. In case you didn't notice how long this video is before you started listening, you probably think I'm almost done because I must have run out of stories by now. Well, as much as I hate to disappoint you, I haven't. Assholes are everywhere. Children are in danger everywhere. And so far, I've only covered stories that happened in the last 2 weeks. I'd love to be done, but I'm not. Here we go. On Wednesday, February 3rd of 2021, police in Chesapeake, Virginia, issued an Amber Alert for a 3-month-old baby girl who was abducted during a carjacking from the parking lot of a convenience store. According to police reports, 3-month-old Vanessa da Silva was left in a running SUV with the doors unlocked by her mother, who went into a convenience store, when an unidentified man jumped inside and drove away with little Vanessa. Again, it only takes a moment, people. It only takes a moment for your life to be torn away from you. When her mother realized her SUV and daughter were gone, she called the police and an Amber Alert was issued. By the grace of God, not long after Vanessa was taken, she was found in her car seat, left outside a door of an apartment complex. She was reportedly found by a naval officer who was returning home from work when she saw the car seat outside her door. She said she initially thought it was just left outside, but as she looked closer, she saw a baby's face peeking out of a blanket. She said she couldn't believe it. She had not heard about the Amber Alert and had no idea she had just found little Vanessa. She said when she learned of the time when Vanessa was reported missing, she found her about a half hour later. And thank God she did, because she said it was cold out and it was starting to snow. Vanessa was found to have no injuries, and she was returned safely to her mother, who said she has learned her lesson and she will never do that again. I hope she did. Police say she will not be charged in the case. I cannot believe people are so naive as to believe that it's safe in our world that we live in today to leave their children in unlocked running cars. If what you need to stop at the store, gas station, whatever for is that important, then you can take the extra moments to take your children with you when you do it. If you find taking your children with you to be an inconvenience, wait until you're on your knees, praying they're found safe after they've been stolen from you by a complete and total stranger. Inconvenience or pure hell? Your choice. Oh, and I'm not done yet. On the morning of January 18th of 2021, Amazon driver Juan Carlos Flores was making a delivery in Houston, Texas, when he noticed a child's car seat by the side of the road. He said it was garbage day on that street, so he thought it was just being thrown away. But, he said as he got closer, he saw a baby inside. He said when he saw the baby, he wanted to cry because he couldn't believe someone could be so heartless as to leave a baby alone by the side of the road. So, he said he asked a person at the home nearby where the baby was left if someone had left their baby outside. Then he said the homeowner took the child inside and called police. Police said they were searching for the child, who was abducted during a carjacking earlier that day. Thank God the baby was found safe. As much as I know it's wrong to steal a vehicle, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't happy to hear that some car thieves are at the very least leaving the children somewhere to be found safe, as opposed to harming them. You can have my car, just give me my kids. I even tell my adult kids, I don't care how much you love your car. If someone threatens your life for it, give it to them. That's what insurance is for. We can buy you another car. I can't get another you. Thank God that precious baby was found safe. And God bless the Amazon driver for looking closer and not just assuming the car seat was garbage. I hope many abundant blessings come to his life for saving that baby's life. He was placed in the right place at the right time, and he saved a life. And speaking of heroes, I have one final story that I want to share with you about people placed in the right place at the right time to save a life. According to CBSNews.com, 2 sanitation workers saved a 10-year-old girl's life during their morning shift on February 8th of 2021. Jaleesa LaSalle had been reported abducted from a family member's house in New Iberia, Louisiana, the day before, and an Amber Alert was issued to find her. The next morning, Dion Merrick and Brandon Antoine said they were on their garbage pickup route when they noticed a car matching the description from the Amber Alert off in a field. They said it didn't seem right that a car would just be off in a field like that. When they realized they found the car the police were seeking, they pulled over on the wrong side of the highway to block the car in. Then they called police, who said their quick thinking helped them find Jaleesa safe. She was abducted by 33-year-old Michael Serial, who was arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping. So that's what? 8 children abducted in just a month or so? And those are only the ones that I heard about. There were more. Guaranteed there were more. I didn't even cover the story of the carjacker who stole a woman's car in Beaverton, Oregon, with her 4-year-old child left in it while she ran into a meat market. Again, car left running, child inside, child stolen. I'm not even going to say that it only takes a moment again. In that case, that woman lucked out. She told reporters that the carjacker realized her child was in the back seat of the car, so he returned and ordered her to remove her child from the car. But not before lecturing her about leaving her child in a running car. Then he took her car anyway. But as long as her child was returned, I doubt she cared. When she thought how close she came to possibly losing her child, I bet she waved him off gratefully. I know I would have. So that makes 9 children abducted, just in the past few weeks. This is unacceptable and absolutely terrifying. Should we really be relying upon the goodness of carjackers and criminals to make sure our children stay safe? If you need to hear this, stop thinking it isn't going to happen to you. None of these parents thought it was going to happen to them either. Learn from their mistakes. Protect your children. I raised 3 kids, and I've needed a lot of things in life, but I've never needed anything enough to leave them alone in a running, unlocked car. Nothing. And neither do you. Stop doing it. If you need to hear this, stop doing it. And you may say you do it all the time with no problem. That's great. You've been lucky up until now. But you better hope and pray that your luck doesn't run out. 'Cause you'll be sorry you did it. But your children will be the ones paying the price for it. You never know who's watching and waiting for an opportunity to steal your car. Leaving it unlocked and running, you're asking for it. Stop making yourself a victim. Stop making our children victims. It doesn't need to happen. It never needs to happen. But if you choose hell over inconvenience, then that's up to you. You're the one who has to live with your decision. It's only your life, your children's lives, and everyone who loves them and cares for them's lives you're destroying. So, no big deal. After all, nobody likes to be inconvenienced. Thank you all so very much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you on my next video.